Hello and welcome to another edition of the Moving Iron Podcast. This podcast is proudly provided by Axon, helping dealers move more iron for almost 100 years. Find out more at agmarkets.com. Axon was started almost 100 years ago out of a passion for keeping agriculture moving. It's that same passion that drives them today. With a vision for a better experience for both farmer and dealer, they set out to create a better way to move more iron. When you partner with Axon, you get immediate access to a full range of products and solutions designed to meet the complex needs of today's grower. Axon carries all major brands and sizes of tires, wheels, and tracks. From custom colors and sizes to fully customized wheels, you can have the solution for virtually any problem today's farmer is trying to solve. To find more or become an Axon dealer, please visit agmarkets.com. This podcast is also brought to you by Valley Transportation. Valley Transportation has been hauling ag and construction equipment across the country for the past 33 years. Call Parker at 800-657-4910 or go to valleytransinc.com for all your trucking needs. At Valley Transportation, our goal is to help you reach yours. This podcast is also brought to you by Ag Direct. No matter how you buy your ag equipment, from a dealer, auction, or a private party, Ag Direct can help you finance it. You can even apply online at agdirect.com. Learn more about your financing options at agdirect.com.
Moving iron in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving iron time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving Iron.
Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast Markets with Tony LaPorta. This edition of the Moving Iron Podcast is brought to you by Axon Tire, helping dealers move more iron for the past 100 years. For more information, go to agmarkets.com. Also, Valley Transportation has been hauling ag and construction equipment across the country for the past 33 years. Call Parker at 800-657-4910 or go to valleytransinc.com for all your trucking needs at Valley Transportation. Our goal is to help you reach yours. And no matter how you buy ag equipment from a dealer, auction, or a private party, Ag Direct can help you finance it. You can even apply online at agdirect.com. Learn more about your financing options at agdirect.com. I got Tony LaPorta back here with me, and it's been a little bit since Tony's been on, but with the craziness in the market right now and the amount of money that's flowing out of the outside markets going in to the commodity markets, interest rate talks, geopolitical stuff going on, I felt like it was a pretty good time to get Tony back on to talk about his perspective, what he sees happening. So, Tony, how you been, man?
Fantastic. A little bit of brain dead after a week like this.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a roller coaster. Yeah. And here's a very interesting, and you'll be shocked at this because I was shocked at it. I do daily numbers, weekly numbers, monthly numbers. Do you know we closed higher on the week?
Are you serious? I would not have guessed that. No.
The Dow gained 489 points.
Wow.
I know. S&P's up 34 points, NASDAQ plus 16, and the lagger, the weak one was the Russell, down 19 points.
Wow.
I know.
That's crazy. After the way the week started out and the way, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday went, you wouldn't have guessed that. But I guess on Monday there was that big rebound. They were down 5% or something like that, and it rebounded back up 400 points or something like that. But immediately the next day it just tanked again. So what are you seeing?
If you think about this, the S&P's closed up 34 points on the week, but today they rallied 150 points, 160 points from the lows. So we were really having a bad week when we woke up this morning.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit. As you take a look at what happened this week, and you got the Russia-Ukraine thing, you got the interest rate thing, the dollar had a big run up. You take a look at all these different factors out there right now. What's your thought now as we kind of reset the table here moving into next week?
Okay, so Powell became the Fed chair in February 2018.
Right.
And his mission, he was on a mission to raise interest rates and reduce the balance sheet. And And, the administration at that time did not want higher interest rates. They wanted lower interest rates. And Powell was actually ridiculed publicly.
Yeah.
Almost on a weekly basis. Yep. But he made an announcement that he was going to do this in December of 2018. He was going to follow through with it. And the S&Ps in a matter of 3 weeks went down 16%. And Powell did a little backstep, and then we rallied, and until COVID hit, I mean, we rallied for another about 2 years, year and a half, something like that.
Yep.
Anyhow, he has come out, and we basically got confirmation from the Fed meeting this week that he is going to raise interest rates and he is going to reduce the balance sheet. And you see what's happened to the market. I mean, on a year-to-date basis, we have the Dow down 4.3%, S&P's down 7%, NASDAQ down 11.5%, and the Russell down 12.25%. But why is he? Is this going to be you were only, I think I found out you were only 3 or 4 years old when Volcker took interest rates up to 22.5%.
Yep.
But are we going to have another Volcker moment? No. Volcker at that time was, he was told like he was the biggest, moron ever sort of thing. And 40 years later, he's a star. He knocked inflation down, and we have that kind of runaway inflation at the moment.
Right.
I mean, look at crude oil, $88 a barrel.
Yeah.
The only thing I know about crude oil is when the price of crude goes up, the price of everything goes up.
Right.
And I don't think he's going to back away this time. I think Powell's going to do what he's intended on doing, and you also have to remember the stock market. We had the Greenspan put, then we had the Bernanke put, then we had the Yellen put, and now we had the Powell put, and I do believe that put has been taken off the table. And the only way to truly get inflation down, They really have to knock the stuffings out of the housing market, knock the stuffings out of a lot of things, and I think that's going to tip us into recession. And what I know, the average decline on Wall Street during the recession is 20%.
Yeah.
So he's walking a fine line at the moment.
Right. So what's your anticipation when you start looking at interest rates and those kind of things going into that March timeframe? Obviously, I don't think they're going to come in and say we're going to raise it 1% or anything like that. But would you anticipate, 25 basis points, something like that, in your best guess?
Absolutely. 25, and every meeting 25. If he really wants to, get the desired effect of knocking inflation down. Mind you, 25 is not going to work.
Right.
And he may, and we still have to remember, there were predictions this year of 4 rate hikes.
Right.
So that's a total of 1%.
Yep.
So really, what's happening with a 1% rise in interest rates? Interest rates are going from historically low levels to historically low levels.
Right. Yep. It's a weird conundrum, I guess, if you put your head around it.
Ask your dad. What was his? My first mortgage payment was 12% for a house.
Yeah.
And I do believe, the millennial out there is smart enough that they know, because their parents have all told them, oh yeah, my first mortgage rate was 12%. You're getting 3%, and all of a sudden there's a hint of interest rates going higher, and I think the millennials are going to start moving into they already have been, but I think. It's so funny. For as long as I've been involved in the markets, in 1987 during the crash, up until the crash of 87, the bond market and the equity market competed for investment dollars. And the bond market was 6 to 7%. And if you could return 6 to 7% on equities, they competed for money. During the crash of 87, they sold their stocks and bought bonds. And that was the day, the 29th of October, 1987, that the phrase flight to safety was coined.
Yep.
And since that time, it's changed a little bit. So now we've just had at one point we were down 12 or 13% in the stock market this week from the highs. And I kept on saying to my clients, where's the money going? Because it usually comes out of the stock market and it goes somewhere else.
Right.
And if you look, it did not go into the bond market. Gold was back down to 1780 today. It's not gone in the gold market. Where's it going? It's going into commodities. It's going into the ags, and it's going into housing. I've received 4 to 5 text messages, emails. How would you like to sell your house?
Yeah. There's a lot of that going on right now.
So that's what is he? Is he going to pull a Volcker moment? Not from the start. We'll see. We'll see how high they want to get. I mean, look what the beans did today. Yeah, 1470.
Yep.
And not backing off.
Yep. So that was my next question for you then. So as you take a look at some of the stuff, obviously soybeans, the crush market's going crazy. This biodiesel boom, this airplane fuel boom, those kind of things where you're starting to see a lot of that soybean market kind of echo what happened during the ethanol run up in that early 2000s and what that looked like. And then you start looking at the wheat situation with Russia and Ukraine and the amount of wheat that comes from that area. And then you're messing with one of the major ports that could possibly get that stuff out. And then you start looking at corn and where's corn playing and all that. It seems like to me wheat and soybeans have a really good chance of taking off and running, and I think whatever happens on the backside of that, corn is going to be just a follower right now and not really leading anything.
Well, and that's just it. And I grew up in Chicago. That's all I need to do is drive 30 miles outside of the city, and I have corn on one side of the road and soybeans on the other side of the road.
Right. And
they've always, this is my 43rd year in the business. They've always kind of followed each other. And lately, the beans took off. The corn is going with it, kind of, but the wheat all of a sudden has sort of lagged behind. Right. So, the corn can't decide, if it wants to follow the wheat some days or, but front month corn closed at a new high for the move. Yep. And I think it finished at 636, something like that. Yep. And the contract high in March corn is 640 and a half. So we're not that far away. Ethanol, I have a farmer friend who said last year he sold corn at $7 a bushel. And he says with ethanol the way it is this year, he thinks it's going up to $8 a bushel.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of people say that $8 number has been bantered around quite a bit. So It'll be interesting to see what happens there.
How about, and I don't mean to, you're supposed to be asking the questions, but did you see on expiration what Nat Gas did yesterday?
Yeah, I saw that. It had a pretty good jump yesterday.
It traded up to 743 or 734.
Yeah.
And you know what that is? That's shorts. Yeah. Those are shorts getting squeezed. And I have some really heavy players in my chat room that I work in, and they've been long UNG, the Nat Gas ETF.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They've been long thousands and thousands and thousands of shares of it, and literally, 2 to 3 weeks ago, the one guy said, "Well, I'm just dead in all those." Well, he's not dead anymore,
Right.
And it followed through today, and he was long 5,400 of these.
Wow.
And at the lows, he was down about 400 grand. And he's gotten out of 900 of them, but he's keeping 4,500. He's like, oh no, because he thinks they all got out of their Feb nat gas futures positions and rolled it into March.
Yeah.
So,
well, if you look at what's going on in Europe, it's the coldest winter they've had in 20 years or whatever, and it's just getting worse. And Germany has hooked its wagon to the Russian natural gas pipeline because they've decided to shut down everything they can shut down in order to be more green, and they can't produce their own electricity anymore, and they're so reliant on that. So that, coupled with what we have going on in the United States with natural gas, this really is kind of a big deal waiting to kind of blow up a little bit.
And I think it is. And the administration has come out and said, okay, if you struggle with getting natural gas from Russia, we'll start sending ours over. I mean, they're paying whatever $30, $40 per. I don't know how it's priced. Yeah. But ours is $4.50, $5. Mm-hmm. So it's our good friend Sean. He's been beating on the nat gas table.
He has been,
and it's taken him a while to look good. But boy, he looks really good now.
Yes, he does. He sure does. He really does.
Good for him.
Yeah,
good for him. He does a really nice job. You and him together do a really nice job.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Thanks a lot, Tony. Well, Tony, it's good stuff, man. If folks want to reach out to you and get more information about what it is you're doing, what's the best way to do that?
Just send me an email, tony@tonylaporta.com. And if you have a question or something, put it in the email, send your phone number, and I'll call.
Right on. Okay.
It's easy as that.
Yep. I'm Casey Seymour with Moving Iron Podcast. Make sure you check me out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Also go to MovingIronLLC.com for everything Moving Iron related. And Tony, I appreciate you being on the podcast again, man.
It was nice to see you again.
All
Be
right.
good.
Thank you. And with
Cheers.
that, Casey Seymour, Tony LaPorta. Let's go with some iron, folks. Out. You want to have a meaningful competitive advantage to help sell more equipment. Whether you represent the sales, parts, or management department of an implement dealership, there's a surprising amount of complexity when it comes to tire, wheel, and track technology. Let Axon worry about that so you can get back to supporting your customers. Axon has leveraged years of experience to create a streamlined process that gives you a proven path to help today's grower and sell more equipment. The roots of their organization go back almost 100 years to the invention of the rubber tractor tire. Supporting agriculture is the number one driver of Axon, from product development through sales and service. To find more or become an Axon dealer, head over to axontire.com. Valley Transportation has been hauling ag and construction equipment across the country for the past 33 years. Call Parker at 800-657-4910 for all of your trucking needs. At Valley Transportation, our goal is to help you reach yours. And no matter how you buy ag equipment, from a dealer, auction, or a private party, AgDirect can help you finance it. You can even apply at agdirect.com. Learn more about your financing options at agdirect.com.
Moving iron in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you.